And all you do is switch on the timer. I reckon gas mark 5, 20 minutes a pound plus 20 minutes.
It's a 1960 MGA Mark 1 Deluxe. There was only 70 of these made. It's a twin cam apart from the engine. This car has got twin cam wheels, it's got all-round disc brakes. They are the main features from a standard 1600. I bought this car in a barn in Wales. They've been there for 6 years, hadn't turned a wheel, looking quite sorry for itself. And it took me 4 months to clean it up. This car has got all genuine BMC parts. The paintwork is very good. The chrome work is excellent. A lot of detail has gone into this car. Anything that could come off was taken off, either replaced or refurbished and put back. To be honest, it was a mild restoration. And it took me 4 to 6 months to do, working nearly every day on it. The engine bay took me a month to do, so it didn't take me very long at all. It drives nice. It gets a lot of attention, it turns a lot of heads, to be honest, and a lot of people love the colour.
With the parts in the dishwasher, I can now take you through what we've been up to over the last week or so. And basically, it's been stripping the car down, dismantling it into every last little bit. And Pete's really getting into the spirit of things now, which is fantastic. You'll see here some evidence of the fact that we've stuck rigidly to our plan to try and document the dismantling down to every last nut and bolt. So everything here is labelled in little bags, including with our little diagrams and so on in, to make sure that when it comes to putting it all back together again, we know what we're up to. Also, it gives us a jobs list. So you've got things like all these parts need to go for re-chroming, all these parts are going to go for plating or powder coating or whatever. So hopefully it will be very organised over the next 5 months. The gearbox, all I've done with it so far is just steam clean it. It was in a terrible state. That's now ready for dismantling. But the bit we've really got to focus on now is the bodywork, because probably over what should be a 12-week project, in building terms, 4 to 6 weeks of it will be metalwork. Some of the bodywork problems are really obvious. For instance, the front wings, the door skins and the rear wings. But we're going to start by concentrating on the structural part of the car, which is its integral chassis. It doesn't have a separate chassis, it's all part of this monocoque structure which gives the whole car its strength. Now, it's very difficult to see the chassis part separate from the rest of the bodywork. So to help you, what I've done is spray those bits gold, and it all suddenly jumps out in front of you. There are 2 rails that come from the front and then join a cross member across the whole of the width of the car here, and this bit, the front bit's joined to the back bit by castle rails either side that come all the way back and then join to the rear chassis arms, which come up and over the wheel arches right back to where the rear bumper fixes on. Now, most of it is OK, which is good news, apart from each of the castle rails is completely shot through, particularly at the front here. So the whole of this needs replacing with a replacement part. Also, the cross members have already had a repair on the outer edges here. This is where the jacking point is. So we've got to replace this end of the cross member there and the same on the other side. Now, it's really important, although we've got problems on both sides of the car, you only tackle one side at a time, because with a car like an MGB that's a monocoque and is actually quite weak, and if you cut out all the rotten stuff on both sides, you could seriously weaken the car, it could distort or even at worst collapse. So we're going to start with the near side. These are all the body panels that will go on the near side of the car. We start out here with the castle rail. This is the inner step sill. This is the diaphragm, or the kind of middle sill. That's the outer sill there. Rear wing, front wing, and door. Now, the reason we've got the door on already is because all the other panels that we have to put on here, the front wing, the rear wing, and the sills, are all put on with reference to the door. It's a very important panel. To get it set up right, we need to make sure that the gap here between the door and the bottom sill is nice and even, and also up the rear here to the B-post. Now, at the moment, it's too narrow at the top and a bit too wide at the bottom. So the way to rectify that is going to jack it at its jacking point right in the middle of the car, and as the middle goes up, effectively, the front and rear sag down, and it'll open up the gap like that if you exaggerated it. So it's just a little bit it goes up. You can see it now opening. As we jack it, it starts to open up until you've got a nice even gap. Now that's the position we need the whole of the body shell to be in to be able to take off the front and the rear wings and the sills and replace them. So if we open the door, don't worry about the noise for now. Now we've got this opening set. What we put in is a brace that we've made specifically that will go between the A post here and the B post at the back. We'll fix it in place and it will then rigidly hold this gap open. We're then free to cut out all the panels we want, replace them with the new ones, and we know the door will still fit. Yet again, if only we'd looked in the manual, we might have worked out exactly how many bolts held this on. Hey! Nice one. So we won't be using that again. Now that looks radically different, doesn't it? There was also another bit here that fell off at the same time. Here it is. This little splash panel that went there, like that, has seen better days, but obviously the sticker outlasts the metalwork, clearly. We are making progress, but time to check on the washing machine. Let's have a look. That is amazing. Absolutely incredible. This would have taken me hours of cleaning to get them anything like as good as this. Just superb. And the wife is going to be so chuffed because I won't be putting it in the dishwasher at home now. Anyway, that's it for now. Join us after the break when we'll be at the factory where they actually build the panels and we'll see the process from scratch. See you in a minute. I'll tell you what, I love this welder and I want one. Now, a real treat for you. Over the next few minutes, you're going to see an MGB Roadster put together from scratch using the original equipment out of the MG factory. Here at the British Motor Heritage plant, they produce about 4 body shells a day. It's hard work, so we better crack on.
Where is everybody?
Ah, yes, another great British institution, the tea break. British Leyland time. Could be back in about 3 days. Now, if you're going to build a car from scratch, my advice is don't start by making the bonnet.